Hi, everybody. I'm excited to be here with you. And my name is Martin Karlovic, and this is the launch webinar for the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. And I will introduce the idea of the product as well as how to become a Visual Advanced Production Scheduling partner. We actually launched the product last week, Friday. So the version 1 is available on the market. It is an on-prem version. I will talk about the app source version towards the end of this meeting. So the version 1 is out, and as we all know, when building software, the launch of the product is not the end, but it's the beginning of a new journey. So you can expect us to enhance this product incrementally over the next couple of months and years. We are super excited about this product, and we would love to get your feedback on the product. We would love to get your ideas because, as said, the version 1 is not the end of the road, but it's the beginning of the journey. And I'm extremely happy that we made it onto this journey. So as always in these webinars, you're on mute because we don't want to get disturbed by some background noises. If you have a question, then use the GoToWebinar chat pane, and I will then either answer right away if it fits, or I will look at all the questions at the end of this meeting and then ask them. So let's get going. The VAPS, in essence, it is a product for Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central users who want to get full control over their production schedule within 4 weeks with fully integrated Visual Advanced Production Scheduling. So I know that this is a strong claim, and I'm making the claim, although the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler is a new product. The first version was just launched this week, so I cannot give you yet any customer references that prove the claim. However, we developed the VAPS in close collaboration with a few selected beta partners. So it was not just us developing the product, but we made this with some of the partners who have a dedicated manufacturing practice, who know our product very well, or who have been reselling the Planner One product. And so here is what some of the beta partners say. James from Techman from the UK, whom you most likely know, he said, the VAPS is an invaluable tool that helps making the right decisions quicker. He couldn't imagine using Business Central manufacturing without it. They will recommend it to all their clients as they know that changes the game for their productivity and flexibility. And Olivier from Christians from Belgium says, and they have a decades-long hands-on experience with production companies, they needed a reliable production planning software for their customers, and they decided to go with VAPS because it seamlessly fills some of the gaps, especially when it comes to planning that Dynamics 365 Business Central have. So we're getting quite positive feedback on this product. And if you ask for whom this product is and for whom this presentation is for, well, this product especially is kind of made for the VP operations, the operations director, or the production planner of a discrete manufacturing working with Business Central, or with a operations director, production planner, VP operations of a discrete manufacturer who considers using Business Central. And I think it's important to know that this is for Business Central, and we build it with a discrete manufacturer in mind. And typically, the companies that apply for this product they have a reputation for great quality. They get a number like 10 to 20 new orders every day, and they haven't yet sold their issues on getting transparency about what is happening on their shop floor. As a consequence, these companies struggle with delivery time forecasting, and they are drowning in operational workload, right? They are they are kind of in permanent firefighting mode. They have rush orders, they have changing customer requirements, machine breakdown, delayed supplier deliveries, and so on and so forth. And typically these people would be okay if their situation would be just like this. However, they are spending really, really much time arguing with their sales people and their customers instead of actually managing their production. So that's a question. Am I the only one that can't hear anything? So just let me know. Can you confirm that you can hear me? Okay, I got a lot of yes. Okay, thanks. So most of the people in the call obviously can hear me. So it seems to be not a common issue, but thanks for asking. But it seems to be your issue. So maybe you need to replug your headset or look at your settings. But I get a lot of yes that people can hear me. So thanks for asking and thanks for letting me know. So these companies that I just spoke before, they may have tried scheduling on a whiteboard and it didn't work. And they have tried Excel for scheduling for sure. And maybe this worked, but this worked when they were small. They run morning meetings, but they take too much time. And some of them may even have implemented a really expensive advanced planning and scheduling system, but it turned out to be too complex. And this whole mess is actually not the fault of these companies, because the truth is that most ERP systems are not made for scheduling. Right? Business Central also is in essence not made for scheduling. The ERP systems are made for managing transaction, and scheduling requires managing actions. And this is a complete different story. So the truth is also that most of these APS systems that come with powerful algorithmic automatic scheduling are way too complex and often also way too expensive for the typical SMB discrete manufacturer working with Dynamics 365 Business Central. And with the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler, we address and solve this issue. So if you are a partner serving discrete manufacturing clients that face these issues that I just mentioned, then the VAPS is the right tool for you to bring really big value to your clients. So here is how we look at this, right? Production scheduling software really can help clients to stop the permanent firefighting, and it can help to bring back full control over their schedule. However, Business Central does not come with proper production scheduling capabilities, as we all or most of us knows. So the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler is the only visual, fully integrated advanced production scheduling extension that is currently available. And the VAPS first brings transparency, and with the transparency it helps the users to understand the rather complex manufacturing and scheduling data. And once they have this transparency, obviously they need to manage, then to change the schedule. And for them to change the schedule, we provide them with what we call intelligent tools to effectively manage the schedule. And so it is all about managing the schedule, and scheduling means changing data, and changing data means changing processes, changing data and processes in an ERP system, which should be the single version of truth for the customer's processes and data. And so we actually fully integrate the VAPS into Business Central, into the customer's ERP system, because we feel that this is the way to go to make customers work in the most efficient way. And for some So just for those who don't know us, or for those who don't know the full background of the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler, I'm Martin, and I'm the CEO and co-owner of Netronic Software. We are a family-owned company, and as a company, we have been developing visual scheduling software for more than 30 years. We're pretty international and do more than 70% of our business with international clients, and we employ people from 7 countries at the moment. We didn't develop the VAPS on our own, but we teamed up with Techman from the UK. And other than us, they are no Microsoft Dynamics ISV, but a Dynamics partner, and they are really dedicated to manufacturing distribution companies. They have an in-depth knowledge of SMB manufacturing requirements, and they have seen it all in the thousands of projects they did since they were founded back in 92. So we decided actually to partner between Techman and Entronic to bring together the best from our companies. So Techman obviously has the manufacturing knowledge. They also know Business Central really in and out. We as Netronic, we have the in-depth visual scheduling knowledge and also the tools and the technology to build visual schedulers. We have the knowledge of how to integrate these and to fully integrate these into Business Central. And also we have the knowledge of how to market extensions and how to sell them globally and to support a global partner community. So with Techman, who was the UK's largest Planner One partner, and with us having actually more than 250 customers of the smaller production scheduling product, the VPS, both of us have helped so many discrete manufacturers that for both of us, the ingredients of successful production scheduling became extremely clear. And we nail it down to actually 3 steps or 3 elements. So the first step that we really looked at is how can we give the user transparency through visualization about what is happening. And there are a couple of elements that we thought about. So first, you see I have a production order selected, this red one, and you see this red line, required due date is late. So we give a warning if the production order that you work on is late. You see this yellow thing here. So we give the users a clear differentiation between production orders that are scheduled. These are those that you see at the respective machine centers, and those that are not yet scheduled. So we add actually what we call a standby resource to every work center. This is a virtual standby resource with infinite capacity, and this contains all those orders that have been added in Business Central but not yet scheduled by the person working with the VAPS. So you open the software and you see as a planner, okay, these are the things I need to do, and then you also get warning if things are late. You see the machine utilization at one glance, right? I look here at my drilling machines and see they are pretty busy in this period of time. Also my cutting machines, right? I see when there are machine breakdown times. I see this in red here in the background, or extra times in green in the background. So all of these incidents that are really important are made very visual. And if there are potential capacity overloads with the things I already scheduled and those that I also still need to schedule, then we have the capability to show capacity curve. And we see actually that right now there is more demand for productions or operations on the drilling machines on this day than we can handle, right? It turns red here. The drilling machines are busy and something is lining up here that I need to add to the schedule. So I need to look for some flexibilities to work with this. And there is a lot more visualization there. So, but this thinking about how to visualize the data that we have in Business Central plus the data that we are adding with the extension that we built, like the required due date, is a subtle extension, but it's very important. The visualization is really the first step to make also for the client so that they understand their situation and they understand what they have. And typically when we start implementing this, they recognize often how late they are in the process. And so with having this visually, I immediately see where I need to take action. And in order to take action for the customer, we actually give them tools to effectively manage the schedule. And when you look at how your customer is scheduling today, how your customer is driving the shop today, then there are also signs that they are not effectively doing it. So when you talk to them, when you hear them talk, and you get the impression that they do frequent changes to the schedule, and whenever they do changes to the schedule, this boils down into operation, into execution, and they start to change things. So if they have very, very unstable execution because the schedule always changes, then this is definitively a sign that they are not effectively managing the schedule. Or if they are uncertain as to do they are uncertain as to do what, but they cannot create scenarios. So they just have this one schedule, and they know if they make a change to it, boom, it goes down into execution and something changes there. Then they are not effectively managing the schedule, and they have an ineffective architecture for doing so. Then if you just ask your customers, hey, when your customer call, and when they come with a new inquiry, how fast can you reliably answer them the question, when can you deliver this? And I have seen customers really, when their customers call them and they get the inquiry, it takes them 4 hours to compile the data to answer this rather simple question. And then, of course, it gets worse when it's not just an inquiry, but it is an inquiry from the number one customer who is really urging for a rush order. So what happens if you squeeze in a rush order into an existing schedule? Can you predict the impact on the other orders? Can you say what's happening? And then you have the unplanned incidents. It's not just a rush order. It's a machine that breaks down. It's a customer calls and they don't want 50 pieces, but 70. They want to change the specification, and this has an impact on the setup time or the production time per unit. So if each of these unplanned incidents creates chaos, then they are also not effectively managing the schedule because they just miss the tools. And with the VAPS, we had these things in mind to actually build tools to help the customers to effectively manage the schedule. So with the issue, every change to the schedule disturbs the execution. Well, with the VAPS, we separate scheduling execution data. We allow the customers to build a schedule that is not on the productive data. So we take the production data, we take a snapshot, and then the customers can build their schedule on this copied data. And then we give the scheduler, so not the scheduler in terms of the software, but the scheduler in terms of the person, the control as to when he or she wants to update the schedule, as to when he or she wants that the changes that they made in the schedule boil down into execution and change work order lists, for example. So we clearly differentiate these words of execution and scheduling by taking a copy of the production data, putting them in separate tables in a separate data infrastructure within Business Central, and then allowing them to change on that. And then if they're uncertain as to do what and when, and if they cannot make scenarios, well, this is over with the VAPS, because they not only can do one copy of their production data into a separate table, but they can do this as often that they need. So basically, they can create production simulations, or they can create simulations of their production schedule, and they can keep them persistent as long as they need it. And then the scheduler can compare scenarios and then take control and publish the best schedule that he built, the schedule that meets their business goals at best. We give them tools to quickly add the job to the schedule without changing other orders. And we can do this, that we also let them automate, or let this mechanism automatically select the best possible machine in terms of the ones that gets this particular operation done at earliest. While doing so, we can also take into account material availability, information that is basically completely missing in standard business central scheduling. And of course, when we add this, we visually show the finish date. So they can add something to the plan, taking into account material availability, where we automatically select the best possible machine, and then we see when this is finished. So what has taken some customers in the past, sometimes up to hours just answering this simple question, is something that I can actually do within this demo, although I keep on talking on PowerPoint slides. So it's really easy. Of course, we also can squeeze something in by drag and drop, and this drag and drop is kind of backed up on finite capacity scheduling. So no resource overloads like we have in standard business central. We have the option to say push forward, move this order through the shop as fast as possible, and then we see which orders get impacted. And our answer and our approach to handling unplanned incidents is really something that comes in us offering best practice training for the customers, because if they have these tools in place, actually customers are able to build scheduling routines. And if you have routines, and if these routines embrace also tools to handle the unplanned, then the unplanned becomes, it remains unplanned, but it becomes manageable. And so let's talk a couple of minutes about scheduling instruments before I actually switch to the demo. But this one is really important, because the idea of having scheduling instruments is really key to the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler. And we know that when thinking of production scheduling, especially when it comes to more advanced production scheduling and to the larger customers, many people have this magic button in mind, right? They want this button that they think they can press and get a magically optimized schedule. This is not what the VAPS will deliver, and this is consciously not what the VAPS will deliver. And we are fundamentally convinced that this is also not what your customers should get. I think having the magic button is a desire, but it is a dangerous desire, because you rely ultimately on an algorithm to work. And in order for the algorithm to work, you need to feed it with good data. Otherwise, you give garbage in and then you get garbage out. Feeding it with good data means that your customers really need to massively invest into data quality and data gathering, and this can be this can cost a fortune. And then you need to train the algorithm. And now think about the times we live in, and also especially if your clients are more of these make to order kind of companies rather than these huge serious production companies, right? Then for make to order company, for job shops, for machine shops, change is the reality, is the daily reality. So then these companies train this expensive algorithm that the magic button works. And of course, this training of the algorithm is based on their situation now. And then this might change tomorrow, or in a week from now, or in a month from now, or in six months from now. But it will definitely change. This is clear. And then the algorithm is based on old assumptions. And then, although they invested into data quality, because the assumptions have changed, they still feed this super algorithm with bad data, and then they get out of the sudden bad results, and they don't understand why, and then they lose trust in the software, and in the end they end up with just using the visual part of the product that has this magic button. And so our experience has really taught us that this magic button, it brings really magic to the software vendor who builds it, but the magic for the user is limited. It's definitively limited in time, and this is not what we aim for. We really want to build a product that makes your customers productively manage and run their shop over a large period of time. And so we really say no to the magic button and we say yes to scheduling instruments. These scheduling instruments, and let's be clear on this, we are not saying no to algorithms, but we are saying no to the magic button. So the idea of the scheduling instruments is to help with on-the-spot scheduling tasks. Like, we give you an algorithm that it says, I want to push forward this production order. I want to prioritize it as much as possible. It should run through the shop as fast as possible. And this is a command. This is a message that is really easy to understand. And because it is easy to understand, users can apply it quickly, and it is also valid if things change. So the question of, I want to prioritize this will change for the orders that is applied to, but there will be always cases where this is true. So we really want to bring control automation, and we start with this with version 1 small, but this is going to get bigger over the course of us building the product. And with this, with giving the users a set of scheduling instruments to really support on the spot scheduling tasks, we really want to put them into the driver's seat and also help them to produce results that they can actually trust. And then step number 3 is the tight integration of the production scheduling with Business Central. And this is a trick question, and it's funny, right? Or it's a little bit, it's a cheap question, but would you enter a plane that has a cockpit as a separate building block attached from the outside to the plane? Well, I would not. And you see, my PowerPoint skills are really limited, and you can make as much fun as you like on my PowerPoint skills. But although the picture is really silly, I think somehow this actually mirrors what many discrete manufacturers do and how they operate. They invest into a powerful system that helps them to operate and that helps them to fly. And this is their ERP system. And we agreed already that ERP systems are great for managing transaction processes, but they miss the capability of managing certain actions. And when companies then recognize that scheduling is missing, they attach a solution to the outside, like I attached this cockpit to the plane. It makes no sense. So they take data out of the system and build a schedule somewhere else, in Excel, in a whiteboard, or they spend a fortune on an external system promising the magic button. And the thing is, all of this, what they do, takes data out of where it comes from into something attached, and then they need to bring back data again. And this does not need to happen one time, but this happens constantly because they have constantly new orders, they have constant information from the shop floor. So there is a kind of constant data exchange between the core system and the attached system. And so there are really, really a lot of potential point of failures. And I have seen a lot of companies that address scheduling by exactly doing this, attaching the cockpit to the plane from the outside. So this means they build points of failure and they build complexity. And the VAPS, actually, we want to reduce the points of failure to the absolute minimum. And hence, the VAPS is fully integrated with Dynamics Business Central. So, as I just explained, all that we want the customers to achieve is get transparency through visualization, then apply intelligent tools to effectively manage the schedule, and in a way that everything is tightly integrated, that production scheduling actually becomes a core part of Dynamics 365 Business Central. And with this, we are pretty confident that customers can get full control over their production schedule within a couple of weeks. And now we can actually should have a look at the product. And I will do a brief demo today, so there will be much more extensive demos coming up. And okay, this is version 14 and Business Central version 14. Always punish you when you talk too long because then you need to refresh. But anyway, here we go. So the thing that I want to show you in the webinar, and this now looks as if it is not fully updated. So message is, by the way, then, as I'm showing this in Business Central version 14, the VAPS runs in Business Central version 14. We need cumulative update 1. I come to this later. And it also, of course, runs with Business Central version 15. So the use case here is I have a released production order that you see from the description I marked as urgent. So this beast is really urgent, and because it is urgent, I just created it and I released it immediately. So no playing around with planned and firm planned release production order, really urgent. I need 35, what's this, front hubs. And I need them by the 7th of February, okay? So we added a field. This is a table extension with a required due date. This is the fixed date. The due date that we have here is the Business Central due date. This changes with some Business Central things happening, but the required due date is the user control due date, and this is the one we take for the visualization. So this is not changed by any scheduling or by any Business Central magic. This is only changed if the user changed it. And we added another field to the production order header. This is the color. So because this is urgent, I want to see this in red. I want this order to grab my immediate attention. Okay, so I just added this to Business Central and it's not part of my schedule. So working with the VAPS actually requires you to build a simulation. Why? Well, remember what we spoke about. We don't want you to build the schedule on your productive data. We don't want to disturb execution by us playing around in the schedule. So you always need to create a simulation first. And you see I already created one before the webinar today at 20 minutes or 23 minutes past 4. But I told you that we actually can handle multiple simulations. So let me create a new one. And when I create a simulation, you can give it a name so that you know what you did and maybe why and when it is. I say I want to include production data starting with the status plan, so you can filter on production order status. Going forward, I could also see us filtering on work centers or machine centers. Right now, you can filter on the status. You can define the time frame. Going forward, I can foresee us to make this relative to the work date, and you can apply a default view color type. And there are actually a couple of options that you could choose. You can say, hey, I want to see this by item. I want to see this like we have this in the VPS by production order status. I want to see if material is available. I want to see the late orders first. I want to see a color scheme that tells me a lot about bottlenecks. But I say I want to see it by production order because remember, I said this one production order should show red. And so I apply a production order centric view. And I say, okay. And then we actually copy a snapshot of the production data, those that match the filter, and we create a separate table. Actually, you can view some of the data that we created from here, view simulation data. Then you can see that we copied a couple of data into a separate table. And this is what we call the simulation table. And we keep the simulation table as long as the user needs this. This is all within Business Central, no separate database. And then I can open the simulation and then I get the transparency. I get the visual schedule. And you see that the production order, what was it, 1010, I think 39, is shown in red, and it's on the standby resource. It is in red because I told it to be red, and I told the VAPS to open up in the production order view. It is on the standby resource because it is not yet scheduled by me. I just added it to Business Central, and now I'm the planner. I need to get it to the schedule, and I know that this is urgent, so I can do now work with various. Let's see, here's the required due date, right? So this was the 7th, the end of the 7th, and I need to deliver it by the 7th. All right. So now let's see. The one thing I can do, of course, I can say, hey, this is urgent. I want to push it to my machine immediately, so I can take it and drag and drop it. With drag and drop, I give it priority. So I say, if I drop it here, I want it to start here, and you see while dragging and dropping, you see drilling 1 and drilling 2 highlighted. So these are my allowed machines. So actually, and now I dragged it and dropped it, and we said one of the scheduling tools is finite capacity scheduling. So all of these, and you see some of them with these gray bubble on here, they got moved out. And now I can do this for the next. Okay, so I squeeze it in here, and what is an allowed machine? I can push it on milling, and milling 1, milling 2, and milling on turning. Well, here it will only push out one thing, so I move it in here. And then you continue like this. You say, okay, here I get it on here. And then at some point of time, you see you will have squeezed it in. Here it's actually, look, my assembly station. Oh no, assembly station 4. Let's see if this is an allowed resource. Then I can get it actually on there. Yeah, it's an allowed resource, so I can push it in here. And then, okay, on inspection table 1 or 2, I need to kind of push out stuff again. So now I added this to the schedule with drag and drop. And now you also see that a lot of the other things got pushed out because this is finite capacity scheduling. And every production order that has now this little red dot got actually delayed because me squeezing this in, and with me squeezing this in, I had to push out some other stuff. So one tool that we give you still is drag and drop, but as I said, this is supported by finite capacity scheduling, so we never overload a machine. So now let me quickly undo this. And now I undid it 5 times. So now 4 times, 5 times. And now the first task is back on the standby resource. So maybe this pushing it in squeezing it in between and making everything else late is not the best option. So I can also say, hey, actually I have this routing in Business Central and I want to add it to the schedule without disturbing all the other stuff. So now I can actually say, okay, I want to apply the standard routing. And when we say apply standard routing, we add all operations to the schedule, and within the defined routing, we look for the earliest place where we can spot it. And as drilling 1 is the resource as per routing, it adds this is the first available spot. Then it can go directly to milling and turning. It goes on cutting 1 and so on and so forth. But we see that because we have quite good workload in assembly station and here we are finishing late. So let me undo this again. And actually, when we look at the production order, I can double click on it, and then the production order opens like in the VPS. When I look now into the routing, you will notice something interesting. So we have the standard routing, but also there is an alternative routing set. So here I see that actually for drilling, I have an alternative routing set that says drilling simple. And when I look at this, I see that actually both my drilling machines are allowed, and it makes no difference, right? I have the same setup time and the same runtime for both machines. So basically the ending date also will be the same. When I look at cutting, it is different. Remember, in my schedule, I had 3 cutting machines, cutting 1, 2, and 3. And if I look at the allowed alternatives, then I actually see only cutting 1 and 2 are allowed, and cutting 2 runs a little bit slower. It takes me the same time, half an hour, to set them up, but then I need 12 minutes per unit on cutting 1 and 15 minutes per piece, so it's 25% slower on cutting 2. So if I would move this from cutting 1 to cutting 2, it will take longer. But if I have free capacity on cutting 2, this might be actually an option to get things done earlier. So with the VAPS, we allow you to define these alternative routing sets, and we can have a quick look before we go back here into our simulation. You can define, let me quickly close this. You can define these alternative routing sets. This is one of the things you need to do before. This is where we want to coach the users. You can define the set. So here I have a set assembly simple. It's all my assembly station, no multi, and they are all equal. And then you see the one that we had before that just includes the 2 cutting machines, cutting 1 as the reference machine. Same setup multiplier, but here the runtime multiplier 1.25, so it runs 25% slower. Okay, so you can define as many sets as you want. Then you can add them to routing, and when you create a production order, it will look like the production order that we just had before. And now you can actually, and this is another scheduling instrument, you can actually say, okay, I want to add this red production order, which still is urgent. I want to add this production order to the schedule by looking for the first available resource within the allowed alternatives. And this is done by either saying apply standard routing, apply alternative routing. So now I say add this to the schedule, but look within all allowed alternatives for the best option. And best option is in terms of getting the operation done at earliest. And if I do this, you see we are finishing before the required due date, because there were some earlier available free spots within the allowed alternative. So this is another scheduling tool that we have. And so now that I have this on my schedule, I actually need to ask myself the question, well, it's good that I want to start this on February 1st, but do I have the material available for this? And so for that material availability actually is also part of the Visual Advanced Production Scheduler. And now I lost some time because I clicked to randomly. So now I added this to the schedule 1st of February. And then when I start, you see I have the required due date here. And when I start to move this, you see now a gray curtain on the left and the gray curtain on the right. The gray curtain on the right is the required due date. The gray curtain on the left is the earliest material availability date. This is actually a date that we calculate, or that you can calculate when you use the VAPS, and that we take into account. So I can also switch the view, because I said we have these color views, and I can switch from, I have the production order view, I can switch to the availability view. Then this red one will turn green because we see it is scheduled to start after the earliest material availability. But I see I have this one on the schedule which actually has no material to it. So material availability that I know this is here on the 5th, and in the next VAPS webinar promised, I will show you how we calculate the earliest material availability date. But here you just can see, if I move this past this gray curtain, it automatically turns green because we are now starting once the material is arrived, and we don't start before the material arrives. And then we have more options to color. There is more scheduling tools. Maybe just let me show you one. And in order to show this to you, I will switch back to the production order view where everything is colored. If I really want to accelerate an order through the shop, so for example, this yellow one, and let us now quickly just focus this yellow one, and if I want to move it through the shop as fast as possible, so now I reduce the view to just look at the machines that are busy with working on this yellow one. If I really want to move it through the shop, I can say right mouse click, scheduled successors, and scheduled successors means for us from here on give it the highest priority, so make sure that the successor immediately starts when the predecessor begins and move out everything else. So now you see it's straight lines from the successor, from the predecessor to the successor, and everything else that were on this machine has been scheduled, moved out. So now this turned late, this turned late, this turned late, but this got accelerated as fast as I can. So this is another scheduling instrument. There are a few more, and we have plans of building a lot more actually, because we feel this focused use of scheduling instruments makes much more sense. So now let's talk about positioning and pricing. We recently updated our price list. We added Visual Advanced Production Scheduler pricing to it. License fees are the fees vary by the number of Business Central full users. We don't count Business Central team users. The perpetual licensing is a stair curve, so to say. If the customer has between 1 and 15 Business Central full users, the price is 7.5 thousand euros. If the customer has 40 Business Central full users, this is the price. So this is the license price, and then we charge 20% BRAP, 20% for maintenance and technical support per year. If they are on subscription, we charge 19 euros per Business Central full user per month. And this includes, of course, the maintenance and support. Available from AppSource is valid for these products. I will come to the AppSource availability of the VAPS in 10 minutes, maybe. Then when we built the pricing for the VAPS, but also for the other product, we thought that this is not a product that we just can ship to you, but this product should be definitively accompanied by services, by coaching, by some help. So we offer an out-of-the-box package to help customers make their first step with the VAPS. This includes a day workshop or a day of remote support structured in at least 4 sessions, with the majority of these sessions based on the user data and not based on my silly Kronos data. They will get remote installation support, but installing it's pretty straightforward. So we help them with their first step, and they get a year access to the online course library. So we are almost ready with what we call the Visual Scheduling Academy. And if they are in the pre-sales phase, and if they want to test it, we also include a trial license into this quick start package. And the interesting thing for the customer is they can install this directly in their productive environment. And if they decide to continue to work with the VAPS after the trial, they just can continue to use the product, and this has a price. And then, of course, they can book further scheduling coaching from us. But this is definitely something we highly recommend that customers buy from us together with the VAPS license or the VAPS subscription. Then we also have, just that you've seen this, and this is all in the price list, and if you want to have more details, watch the recording from last week's pricing call. We have a migration path from our visual production schedule, VPS, to the VAPS. They just need to pay us the delta. So if you have customers who want to start small, who want to work first and then run, they can start with the visual production scheduler. And if they are 20 users, they need to pay 4,500. And then if they want to migrate from the VPS to the VAPS, they just need to pay the delta. Subscription will just will change, and when they pay the delta, of course, support and maintenance with the next period will change from 16 to 20%. And then we have a migration package also from Planner 1 to the VAPS. We give a discount on the license if they bought the Planner 1 license before. The condition is that so we don't give them discount for free. We expect them to give us a written statement with the order why they choose Netronic and support a reference story after the migration, about the migration afterwards. So this is also something we offer. So if you have customers who are on Planner 1 in NAV and you want to bring them to Business Central, then I know that this is painful, that they have to buy a new scheduling tool. You can give them at least a little bit of goodie and say, okay, it is like it is, but there is some goodwill here to make this a little bit less painful for the customer, okay? So then for partners, if you are a partner and want to work with the VAPS and want to sell the VAPS, then, and this is new in our go-to-market approach and model, you need to become VAPS certified. So everybody can continue to be the Netronic partner, and we have more than 400 partners who signed the partner agreement with us. Our standard partner agreement is completely for free, and it covers the visual production scheduler, the visual job scheduler, the visual resource viewer, and also the visual service scheduler for NAV. It does not cover the VAPS. For the VAPS, we have an addendum that you need to sign and that you need to agree that you want to get certified, and you get certified by making a payment and by passing an exam in the Visual Scheduling Academy. So we will give you some personal training and some personal support for learning and selling the VAPS. This comes with the certification and with the payment. And we give you also access for as many people as you like to the Visual Scheduling Academy. The Visual Scheduling Academy is an online course that we are currently building. It is almost done. It will cost 750 euros for the customers for 1 year. And if you pay this, and for the customers, it's per person. But for you guys, it is, if you pay this, you can have as many people as you like in this Visual Scheduling Academy. You can enroll there, you can do the trainings, watch the videos, do the courses, do the checklist. And in the end, there will be an exam. And if you pass the exam and have paid this, you're certified to resell the VAPS. So the good news is, and really congratulations to Christians from Belgium, to Techman, to Techon from Spain, and to Walcott from the United States. They really significantly contributed to the VAPS beta phase. So they were some of our beta partners, and they really gave us a lot of great feedback. They gave us a lot of direction. They contributed to it. And they, with contributing to the beta, they achieved the VAPS certified status, so they can sell it from today. And I'm happy to get the orders from you guys soon, if you have customers. They are already allowed to sell it. All others will run through this program if they want to resell it. And with this, I think this shouts for some questions. So questions we always get is, will you also build the VAPS for NAV? No, the VAPS is built for BC. The minimum version is 14, cumulative update 1. The reason is with the VAPS, we really have an event-based architecture. So this is something internally, and we make big use of the events that do not exist within NAV. So it would be an insane effort to build the same for NAV. So Business Central is the product for the present and the future, but is no longer the product for past technology. And yeah, you saw that I presented the VAPS in the web client. What is with the Windows client? The VAPS is really optimized for the web client, as this is the future of the product of Business Central, right? So the VAPS works with the Windows client with BC14 as well, but we really do not recommend that you tell your customers they should use it in the Windows client, because there are some unwanted effects that we cannot change due to Microsoft's page behavior. And we made the decision to optimize for the web client. That means we will never compromise the web client for the Windows client. If you want to work with it in the Windows client, fine. If something unwanted happens, well, we won't change this, because if we would want to change this, we would need to compromise the web client, and this is something we will never do. Then next question, and I know I will get this question. So I know you guys are electronic, and I know the VPS, and I know manufacturing. Do I really need to get VAPS certified and pay for it? Yes. There is no option. The VAPS itself brings a lot of enhancements to Business Central. And even if you know us, and if you know Business Central, and if you know the VPS, you won't know these enhancements, and some of them are really fundamental, and some of them are really core for the VAPS. So this certification makes really sure that we together provide the best value to your client. And this is what matters most. It makes no sense that you throw the beast at your customers and then you don't fully know what is behind the scenes. The customer doesn't know, and then everybody is frustrated, and we get urgent support calls. And we want to make sure that people who take this to their clients take it serious and are serious about this. And so even if you will come and say, hey, I like the product, I have a deal for you, and I like to sell it, and I want you to take care for our customer enablement, can we find agreement that I do not need to certify? No, certification is on purpose. We really have been selling the VPS since 2013. We have more than 400 partners, and we made the certification for the VAPS really on purpose. I do not want to take opportunistic deals from a partner who doesn't know the product and doesn't have the commitment. It is really a hurdle that I want to have, that we want to have. We really are happy to do the customer enablement, but still we want you to get certified so that you know what you are selling and that we know what you're proposing to your customer. And this requires the certification, because the certification makes sure that there is the appropriate level of understanding of the product. So now you see how the training works. It's a combination of online meetings and online coaching, and then the online training courses that you can consume as you like. And this is the Visual Scheduling Academy. Where can I find it? You can find it at academy.netronic.com. Okay, so this link is already active. You can go there, and then you see the course curriculum, and if you watch it over the next days, you will see more videos coming to it, but it's already 6 hours of condensed video content, couple of documents to download. We already have a few checklists. I think over the next couple of days, I will build the exam so that you can pass the certification. I see that there's a price to this course right now. I think it's 750 euros per person per year. This is for the customers. So if you sign up for the qualification via the order form, you need to pay us this certification fee. Then we will send you a coupon for the Visual Scheduling Academy. where the course opens next week, and then you can sign up there for free with this coupon with as many people as you like. So you're happy to share this coupon with your colleagues, right? The price that you see on this website is for customers per person who purchase the VAPS and also want to make use of this course. So this course is actually built in a way that enables the customer, but with enabling the customers, you as a partner also will get enabled. And with this, this were all the questions I had in mind, and these are questions that I get asked. So now ask me anything, preferably either about German football or the VAPS. And I see that there are questions already, and let me go to them now. So there's a question from somebody who left the call already, so I will answer this per email. Is it possible to have the link to review this presentation again? Yes, we record the session and we will send you the link latest on Friday. Does the VAPS support backward planning from the required due date? Not now. It is a finite forward capacity scheduling. It takes account material availability each work session. No, right now we calculate the earliest material availability per production order. We have the idea in mind to kind of also make this per operation, per the routing link codes, but this is something for future versions. And we have a roadmap call actually later this week to discuss about the next things, the next step. So right now, I don't see further questions coming the way. If you have them, ask them now or send me an email. And so with this, I'm kind of wrapping this up with actually looking a little bit ahead. So what's next? For us, it is really important to get the app source submission done. We need to do some homework there, both behind the scenes and with all the marketing and documentation content that you need to create. This is definitively planned for the first calendar quarter of this year. And then we think of bringing a new product version out every quarter, so every 3 months. So now we did one in January. So the next point of time for a next version would be in April. We will actually have a call on the roadmap later this week. So we definitely will keep you posted about the roadmap, and let's just watch out for an email. There will be some communication on this. We have some ideas, but we now need to carve them in stone and nail them down. And then for you, what's next? Well, sign up for the VAPS certification now. Okay, this is open. We have already, as at 6 hours of online training courses for the training out there. I would be happy to enable as many of you as I can, to train as many of you as I can. You saw that some of your competitors, some of the fellow companies in your countries are already VAPS partner. We see that there are some big geographies, and I need to talk in German to the Germans tomorrow, where we need some first movers. So really, I would be happy to work with as many of you as you like, but this time also we ask for your upfront commitment to become VAPS certified for the reasons I mentioned. And with this, I'd like to call you. Thank you for your kind attention. I ran 4 minutes over, but I think this is still okay. If you have a question that you didn't answer now, send me an email or connect on LinkedIn, send a message there or tweet me. I'm more the email and LinkedIn person, but I also react to tweets that I get. So thanks again, and talk to all of you soon. Bye-bye. Have a great day.